You think you know Tasmania, right? Australia's remote island state, floating down at the bottom of the world. It's sold as the ultimate escape, a postcard of wild rivers, ancient forests, and stunning coastlines. A place to see bizarre animals, breathe the cleanest air on the planet, and hike until your legs give out. And look, all of that is true, but what happens when the holiday is over? What's life like when you leave the tourist trail and the hiking boots come off for good? What is daily life really like for the well over 500,000 people who call this isolated, heart-shaped island home? This is the Tasmania you won't see in the travel brochures. This is life in Tasmania, unfiltered. To really get a feel for life in Tasmania, you first have to understand its geography, because the island is literally a place of two halves. A rugged spine of mountains cuts the state in two, creating a stark east-west divide that shapes pretty much everything. The west is the wild child. This is the Tasmania of legend. Jagged peaks, ancient rainforests, and weather that barrels in from the Southern Ocean. Towns like Strahan on the west coast are known for their high rainfall. It's a landscape that feels raw, untamed, and deeply isolated. Life here is often defined by a close connection to the wilderness, with jobs centered around industries like mining and remote tourism. But head east over those mountains, and you're in a different world. The east is Tasmania's drier, sunnier side, thanks to a rain shadow effect. Here, the climate is gentler, the coast is dotted with brilliant white sand beaches, and life moves at a more relaxed coastal rhythm. This side of the island is where most people live, from the sun-drenched Freycinet Peninsula down to the state's capital. This geographic split isn't just about weather. It dictates lifestyle, economy, and even the cost of living. The remote west can be less expensive, while the tourist-popular East Coast often has higher prices. No matter where you are, you learn to expect 4 seasons in one day. That powerful sense of isolation isn't just geographical. It's etched into the island's soul. Before it was a tourist hotspot, Tasmania, then called Van Diemen's Land, was a name that sparked fear. It was the British Empire's toughest prison, a penal colony for the most hardened criminals. You can still feel the echoes of that brutal history today. At the Port Arthur Historic Site, the stone ruins of the penitentiary stand as a haunting reminder of the hardship that unfolded there. On the other side of the island, hidden down the Gordon River, lie the remains of Sarah Island, an even more notorious penal station that was a place of extreme misery. But the convict story is just one chapter. Long before the first European ships, this island, known as Lutruwita, was home to the Palawa people for over 40,000 years. Their deep connection to this land is a story of incredible resilience that continues today, with indigenous guides sharing their culture and offering a perspective that reaches far deeper than the colonial era. To understand life here, you have to acknowledge all of it: the ancient indigenous heritage, the brutal convict past, and how that legacy of hardship has forged a uniquely resilient and independent character in its people. So, what does all of this mean for the daily grind in the 21st century? Modern Tasmanian life is a study in contrasts, a constant trade-off between practical challenges and an amazing quality of life. Most of the population lives in or near the two main cities, Hobart in the south and Launceston in the north. Hobart is the cultural hub, a vibrant port city sitting under the gaze of Kunanyi/Mount Wellington. It's home to the world-famous Museum of Old and New Art, or MONA, whose wild and confronting exhibits have put Tasmania on the global map. Launceston, up north, is a charming city known for the Cataract Gorge, a breathtaking natural ravine just a few minutes from the city center. But living in these cities also comes with a dose of reality. The pace of life is definitely slower than on the mainland. While that's a major draw for many, it can also mean a job market with fewer opportunities in some industries. Average wages are generally lower than in other parts of Australia, and while housing might seem more affordable than Sydney or Melbourne, those lower wages can still make buying a home a struggle. The rental market, in particular, is known for being extremely competitive. And you can forget about getting by without a car. Limited public transport makes a vehicle a must-have for everyday life. But that's the trade-off. In exchange for those challenges, you get something that's becoming incredibly rare: balance. Life in Tasmania is built around the outdoors. A stressful workday can be shaken off on a mountain bike trail just after knockoff. Weekends are for exploring the temperate rainforests of the Tarkine, hiking parts of the classic 65-kilometer overland track, or just heading to the beach. The island has also become a genuine foodie paradise, not as a gimmick, but as a reflection of its local bounty. Life is marked by trips to farmers' markets like Hobart's famous Salamanca Market, and food trails celebrating everything from fresh oysters and salmon to cool climate wines and world-class whiskey. And with that comes a powerful sense of community, a feeling that people still genuinely look out for one another. It's this blend of a quiet, community-focused life with instant access to wild nature that really defines the Tasmanian experience. If this is a trade-off that sounds good to you, let us know what you think in the comments. And if you're enjoying this unfiltered look at Tassie, make sure you subscribe for more stories that go beyond the brochure. You can't talk about life in Tasmania without talking about the wildlife. This isn't a place where nature is locked away in national parks. It's just part of your world. The island is a refuge for species that have disappeared from the mainland, a kind of living museum of Australia's weird and wonderful fauna. The most famous resident, of course, is the Tasmanian devil. Far from the cartoon, this carnivorous marsupial is a vital part of the ecosystem. Sanctuaries like Bonorong are working tirelessly to rescue injured animals and protect the species from a devastating and contagious facial tumor disease that continues to be a major threat to wild populations. But the devil is just the start. A drive at dusk often means breaking for a wallaby hopping across the road. A walk in a national park might lead to a wombat calmly grazing in a field. On Maria Island, you can walk among historic ruins, while surrounded by an incredible array of birds and other animals. It's not even that unusual to spot a potoroo or a bandicoot in a suburban backyard. This constant, casual closeness to unique wildlife is a fundamental and truly magical part of the real Tasmanian experience. So, what is life in Tasmania really like? It's complicated. It's choosing to live on an island where the weather can turn on a dime, where you might pay a bit more for your groceries, and where career paths can be narrower. It's accepting a quieter, slower pace that some people might find isolating. But in return, you get to live in a place of jaw-dropping beauty. You get air so clean, you can almost taste it. You get a backyard that's filled with ancient forests and snow-capped mountains, and you get to be part of a close-knit community while enjoying some of the best food and drink on Earth. Life in Tasmania isn't an escape from reality. It's a choice to embrace a different one. It's a deliberate trade, swapping the frantic energy of a big city for a deeper, quieter, and more profound connection to nature, to community, and to a wilder way of life. It isn't perfect, and it isn't always easy, but it is incredibly real. And for the people who choose it, there's nowhere else they'd rather call home.